Alrighty, it's Clorinde time. Another electro character to be playing. So before we start, let me just show my stuff. So my stat spread's not super great. Technically it's 87 because of passives over 161. I'm using the Whimsy set. My rolls aren't great, like this is missing a crit rate stat, or I mean a crit damage stat. This is missing a crit damage stat. This is missing crit rate. So I'm missing like my crit rate and crit damages in a few places, but you know, it's alright. So dedication to the craft, of course. I'm rocking 10-10-10. You know, one thing that's actually pretty typical of electro characters is that they don't really need their normal attacks level, but you know, I like leveling their normal attacks. I like maxing out my electro characters in the full sense. And I also like not playing optimally, apparently. So I'm gonna run through a few things, and I'm running a Chevy team with Fischl. More for fun, less for practicality. If you're gonna be playing Clorinde, definitely high recommend not doing overload like this kind of setup. You could probably swap out like Fischl or Dea for maybe Bennett if you want to try to do like hyper Clorinde. But this is how it be for now.
By royal decree. Loaded.
But the damage is so considerable. I didn't get my last
Shoot on
I didn't get my last E. Oh, it's more than considerable. The damage is actually really good. I actually wish in this case I had Dea on the Tenacity of Millilet set, not on Varushka's Glow. I'll show that in a second. But yeah, she's currently just proccing all of the overloads. Or keeping the overload consistent for me so that Chevy's passive doesn't fall off.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Or pretty consistent, I should say.
Ready.
Don't need it like too much here though. But yeah, Clorinde is fast-paced and fun.
Final warning. Time to testify.
She is... It's honestly like really hard to talk while playing Clorinde because you just have to... You can't really like brain off it a bit.
Loaded.
Because if you don't know the timing, you have to be looking at your health bar to see your bond of life going up and down and when to E. It's a little bit weird. So one thing I've noticed is a lot of people say that there's like an auditory ping for when Clorinde's E is up. I think my ears are just not really like great because I don't really hear that auditory notification for when you need to E. But I'll explain basically what she does as well in a second.
Drop your weapons. Hunt them down. Ready.
No, so close. If I didn't miss one of those E's, this would probably be done. And that's the new fight. Boop. Ever Ambers. I don't need any more technically. I don't foresee building another Apep like character that soon, or that uses Apep stuff. But yeah. Now, you know, let me go back to Fontaine actually real quick. To a semi-open area so I can actually explain what actually is going on here. So if you haven't been in the loop of things on why Clorinde is so fun, it's that she has an extremely unique playstyle, completely centered around her elemental skill, which is, you know, what puts her in a special state to do this. But basically what happens is she's a Bond of Life character, and when you hit her E, you go into a special state. But unlike most characters where this gives you just a regular infusion and some bonus like combos, she gets a very specific skill set. Her normal attacks turns into pistol fire, and her skill essentially turns into a charge attack. And they do more or less damage based on your Bond of Life, and your E, so your skill, which turns into the you know, charge attack, air quotes, they do more or less damage based on your Bond of Life. So the more Bond of Life you have, the more your E is going to do. The less Bond of Life, the more your normal attack's going to do. And the neat thing is that you actually don't even need to be fighting anyone to see this in action. So, boop, I'm in the state. Now I have pistol shots. You can see the Bond of Life going up on my bar. And every time I have over 100% Bond of Life, my E gets buffed to its maximum state. But funnily enough, you don't actually need your E to be at its maximum point to be using it. You can actually just use it throughout the entire state. So, very interesting stuff, because it means you're highly mobile and you do a lot of interesting things. But it's what's making her so fun, and then her ult also has, it actually has like a really nut scaling, to be perfectly honest. I wouldn't be surprised if people did like cheese balls, because 208.4 times 5 is, it's a lot. But yeah, if you want like a new character with a playstyle that no one really else has yet, that character's Clorinde. If you want to play her more optimally, though, you play Aggravate, actually.
Drop your weapons. Yeah.
Aggravate electro characters are just generally better. But, you don't disrecommend, playing, what's the word? Ooh, that was weird. Like, Hypercarry and Overload, Chevy. Whatever you want that's fun, to be perfectly honest, because this is the kind of character where
Into the shadows.
you don't truly need to be playing optimally by doing like Aggravate and just driving Fischl and a Dendro reaction forward. After all, it's not like Overload is inviable, it's just not as good. But, you know, this is Genshin Impact. The amount of optimal damage versus acceptable damage is a huge actual margin. Let's actually go fight the Hydro Tulpa. I want to go do that. I hit navigate.
Final warning! By royal decree, hunt them down. Loaded.
So yeah, the highly mobile nature of Clorinde. Just the way she plays is actually really fun.
Shadow Raven, let night fall.
I think Fischl is one of her best pairs though.
Drop your weapons. Time to testify. Into the shadows.
Just for Fischl's passives. But Fischl is a great, just a broken electro carry, actually, to be perfectly honest. As long as you drive a reaction that's electro-based with Fischl, she's just gonna do massive amounts of damage, and this isn't even, like, fully built Fischl. My weapon's not leveled, and she just pumps out the damage. My driver for the overloads could be a little bit better. not applying every, you know, second is kind of bad. I think the delay is like, what, 2.5 seconds? Yeah, 2.5 seconds every overload, which is fine. But yeah, Clorinde is just so fun. Like I said before, if you want to play her optimally, an aggravate team so far has been the best. Unlike Sino, the recommendation for Clorinde is definitely to have a second electro character. Baiju also huge because a little bit of interrupt resistance goes a long way on her. And even if not, if you have some kind of other interrupt res, that's fine, because she actually self-heals a lot. And unlike Arlecchino, who's the other Bond of Life stacker right now, hers is just on E. So you can actually heal yourself up pretty well off. And you can even do it outside of combat, which I think is super cool. But anywho's, when I figure out some more team, then I do another Clorinde video. But right now, yeah, I'm just having so much fun. Dear Genshin, don't stop making electro characters the way you do. They're the best in the game. Heart.
Ready.
Electro characters have the best kits, and I can't be convinced otherwise. They are just the coolest characters. You got Yai, you got the Raiden Shogun, you got Sino, you got Clorinde now, Fischl. They're just so good. They're just so good. Definitely not an electro character main. Not biased at all, I swear. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna work on some Abyss runs probably for Clorinde. I'll use optimal teams though there. Yeah, I'll use more optimal teams there. And show you what you can really do when you play optimally, but yeah, even if you don't want to play optimally, still super fun. Definitely a character that you can play basically however you want, I think. As long as you're using Impale the Knight, this skill, when you have your Bond of Life, air quotes, over 100% of her HP. So this is before I go, this is actually an important thing to note, because I think it's super weird. 100% and over your Bond of Life HP on your actual health bar actually only looks like 50%. So see how my red bar is about just around the 5, so it looks like it's just over 50%. Yeah, that's 105% Bond of Life. So if you ever feel like, wow, I'm not getting these procs, if you're not here, like, if you're like me and you don't hear the auditory cue, just look at your HP bar, or look at your skill, because you'll see it here. It'll be, it'll glow when it's ready. See, just like that. So there's a few ways to share it and, like, optimize yourself, essentially. But yeah. I think Clorinde's super cool. I hope Genshin never stops making electro characters like Clorinde, like Sino, like the Raiden Shogun. I think that their kits are just, they're always bangers. They're always super cool. Anyways, I'm gonna stop ranting and raving about how cool electro characters are, and I will see y'all later on. Ciao.